Hello and welcome back to Paleoart Profiles. This one is a first in a couple different ways. In one aspect, it does not feature a dinosaur starting with the letter A. In fact, it doesn't feature a dinosaur at all. And secondly, it's the first time we've been able to tie in one of our Paleoart pieces with an author of a book. As today we talk about The Death of Megalodon by Max Hawthorne, who by now you should all probably know from our different Cool's book reviews as well as our Cool's interviews, especially with our book review on Monday of The Sleigh, which was a really fantastic read, so make sure to go grab a copy and make sure to go check out our review, which I'll link in the description below. Now this one is really pretty intriguing as it pits Megalodon against a similar sized pliosaur, which as it says right here is possibly a Liopleurodon. This one being called The Death of Megalodon, you obviously know the fight does not bode well for poor Megalodon. But let's read what it says here on the left side to kind of give you the story of what's going on in the picture itself. Now it says, as it cruises through warm tropical seas, a 20-meter pliosaur, possibly a Liopleurodon based on a dinner-sized plate-sized vertebra and a 16-inch tooth from the LMNH, encounters a similar-sized and hungry sea Megalodon. Using its superior maneuverability, the Liopleurodon avoids the charge from its less agile competitor and then shears off its tail as it would an ichthyosaur. With the giant shark now disabled, it moves in for a finishing blow. Seizing Megalodon by the nape, the pliosaur crushes its spinal column in one massive bite. The fight is over. And then right below we got CronosRising.com. Make sure to go check it out. So yeah, on the left side it kind of showcases this story. Obviously, Max is really good with words. We've said that before in our book reviews. And it really gives you this picture of what's going on outside of, obviously, the art we have here. So it seems like in this scenario, the Megalodon was prowling around, very hungry, and it decided to take on this similar-sized pliosaur, which turned out to be not a good calculation in the Megalodon's mind, because as you can see, its tail has just been sheared right on off. And then killing blow right here as the Liopleurodon just crushes the spinal cord, and obviously the Megalodon is going to die at that point. Though we do see right here there has been at least a chunk bitten off, because it's definitely not going to be super agile, especially at that size. You gotta think it surprise attacked it, and that's how it kind of got this bite in. But the pliosaur being able to maneuver a lot faster just proved way too much. We know pliosaurs dominated the oceans, even though there was sharks around at that time, and some of which could get up to 20 to 30 feet long. And so obviously the sharks of their time weren't giving them much of a run for their money. Something else we know is big sharks tend to not be super quick. And so definitely the maneuverability, I would 100% agree, would probably go to the pliosaur. Another thing is the bite force of the pliosaur, I would probably side with as well. Just given the comparison today, if we look at a great white versus like a saltwater or Nile crocodile, the saltwater or Nile crocodile has a stronger bite force. So it would make sense to kind of see it in that viewpoint as well, as the pliosaur would have a stronger bite force. But yeah, I figured since we had done a Max Hawthorne book review, I would showcase one of his pieces of art. Now, it was kind of hard to decide which one, because he does have a couple different ones, including this really cool super predator, which is a giant sea turtle about to chomp down on a great white shark. But I just thought this one was really cool. Obviously, Max is known for Kronos Rising, which features a pliosaur, and so I thought it was really quite fitting that we'd talk about this one. Plus, we haven't really talked about Megalodon quite yet on our channel, outside of the time we did Chased by Dinosaurs and then with Sam's Top 10 Sea Creatures. Now, there is some pretty good evidence for a giant pliosaur, and so given some of those elements, we could definitely see a gigantic pliosaur. And it's very possible they got bigger than what we think. I think outside of like Tyrannosaurus, which for some reason always, it's okay if people say it got bigger. If you say any other gigantic animal, and maybe Megalodon's another one, but if you say any other gigantic meat eater got bigger, man, it causes such a ruckus. But like I said, you say Megalodon was super big, people are okay. If you definitely say Tyrannosaurus was super big and could always get bigger, people are also always okay. I'm not sure why those two kind of get like the pass, but for whatever reason, if you say Pliosaurus could possibly get bigger, people hate it. Or like Giganotosaurus, say, hey, it might have got bigger than what we have within the just handful of specimens we have of Giganotosaurus. Or Spinosaurus, it might have got bigger because again, we don't have that many specimens. For some reason, people are quick to be like, no. Obviously, this fight's not going to happen in real life. This is just a hypothetical because they live at two very different times. The size of the two animals isn't really off the table. I know some recent studies with Megalodon at least put Megalodon more around that 50 to 55 foot scale. Now, the placement of Megalodon has always kind of jumped around. I know Sam kind of touched upon it in Ark, and at one point it was thought to be just a prehistoric gigantic great white shark, and given the name Carcharodon Megalodon. And then some other studies said perhaps it's not as closely related, and they gave it the genus name Carcharocles. And now today the consensus is more that it's part of the Otodus genus, and so it's Otodus Megalodon. Who would I pick in this fight? I mean, it's hard. Like I said, if the Megalodon were to hit a good blow right off the bat, I mean, in a surprise attack, it's very possible that that's the end of the fight. If it's drug on for a while, probably the Pliosaur. I guess it depends on how drug on, because Pliosaurs need to breathe air at some point. I mean, we're not Animal Face-Off, but, let us know in the comments below. Who do you think would win this fight? A giant Pliosaur or a Megalodon? But yeah, before we end this off, we will let you look at this picture a little bit more. But yeah, I just wanted to pick this one. I thought it was always really pretty cool. If you follow any of Max Hawthorne's pages, you've most likely seen this one at least once or twice. Like I said, it was kind of hard because there's another one I really enjoyed, but at the end of the day, I wanted to pick this one. I just thought it was too perfect, being that Pliosaurs is really kind of what Max Hawthorne is known for. And then Megalodon is another pretty well-known prehistoric animal. And so, when you put two and two together, I thought, hey, it's perfect. This picture actually kind of always brings to mind the Walking with Dinosaurs episode where the Liopleurodon just like sheared off that poor ichthyosaur in that video. I mean, and then you just see that tail slowly sink to the bottom of the ocean. That's always what this picture kind of reminded me of, with that Megalodon tail slowly drifting away from the body itself. And then just like the cunning, I don't know, when you look into crocodilian eyes, and obviously crocodilians and pliosaurs are not related, but it's just, they look similar, perhaps in life. Pliosaurs superficially resembled crocodilians, so perhaps even their eyes. With crocodiles, you can see them processing and thinking, and it's sometimes kind of creepy. I mean, we posted that video of the Nile crocodile where it watched me for a bit, and when I got down lower to try to get a better picture through the fence, you could see it just look at me and slowly drift over. Versus a shark where they just have that, black eye, like doll's eyes, if you remember Jaws. Right here, I think it also kind of captures that. I mean, the Megalodon eyes black, but I don't know, you look at that pliosaur and it just looks fierce. I don't know. It just looks like it's cunning and thinking. So thank you all for joining us on another PaleoArt Profile episode. This one was super neat. Like I said, it's the first time we've been able to do one that tied in with a book review. In this case, The Sleigh. So make sure you're checking out that book review of The Sleigh, and make sure this holiday season you're picking up a copy of The Sleigh, because It was really pretty good. Which you guys should have already known, right? You watched the review, right? If you like this series and want to see more Paleoart Profile episodes, click that link to your left. If you want to see more about what we're doing here at Cool's Paranormal, click that link to your right. And don't forget to hit that like and give us a subscribe. And let us know, like I said before, who wins this matchup? Megalodon or a giant pliosaur?